Hello everybody, this is Byrnage, and I'm going to show you a few tips to gear out a little bit. So, when I'm moving around, I have 812k base DPS and 5.7k toughness, but I use... Wow, somebody joined my game, nice. I'm just going to ignore that. I use Unwavering Will, so when I stand still, it actually bumps up to 883k damage and 7.5 mil. Then when I buff up with all my abilities, that pumps me to 9 mil and 1.1, almost 1.2 mil damage. So I'm going to show you a few tricks to get your DPS this high or higher. So enchanting is a huge thing for fixing your gear up, and so you want to make all your gear as good as possible. With shoulders, you can get intellect, vitality, and percent life, which since you can't really, all you really want is intellect. So you just need to find shoulders with 2 out of the 3 stats, and then you can change one into the 3rd stat. But I recommend getting intellect, vitality, and life to get your survivability, so you don't need it on your other pieces of gear. And then on the helmet, you just want a helmet with intellect, vitality, or crit hit chance, and then you can reforge the other stat on there. You only need 2 of those stats. Armor was just a bonus. I happen to already have armor on it, which is nice. You always want, like, if you can't get anything good for damage, armor or vitality is always good. And for the neck piece, sadly I didn't get intellect on my neck piece, but you want 3 different stats at least: attack speed, crit hit damage, crit hit chance, and intellect. You want 3 of the 4 of those, and then you can reforge the last one. Sadly, I only had 2 of those, so I only was able to reforge for crit hit damage and lose the intellect, but I wanted the... I'm fine with the movement speed, so I didn't worry about that too much. I could probably find a yellow that would do more damage, but it's already got like really high crit chance, and the crit damage is pretty good on it. And for bracers, I haven't messed with my bracers yet, but you generally want intellect, vitality, or crit chance, 2 or 3 of those, but I haven't messed with those yet because I want those for a final build, and I think I probably want to reforge the lightning damage to arcane damage. As for chest, you definitely want +3 sockets. Chances are you're only going to get like int vitality, and then you want to reforge for +3 sockets. I was lucky to have percent life on this already, so I was able to get all those. As for gloves, you want all 4 of those: intellect, attack speed, crit hit damage, crit hit chance. So if you find a pair with at least 3, you can reforge for the last one. I only have 33% crit damage on that. I can reforge that a bunch of times until I get a better amount, and those would be a little bit better. And then this is a great belt to have too, by the way. Opening chest grants 131 increased damage for 10 seconds. That doesn't sound like that amazing, but it works for chests, flipping bodies, clicking armor racks, loose stones in the ground. Any of those, anything you interact with almost, will give you that 131% increase, and it's a lot, and it helps a lot. So that's a good belt to have. You want intellect, vitality. Like, this had perfect stats on it. I haven't even messed with it yet. Intellect, vitality, resist all, percent life. Those are basically the kind of stats you want to go with. You always want to get your toughness stats on things that can't have damage stats like crit damage, crit chance, and all that. That way I don't need vitality on like my gloves. I can get rid of the vitality for that stuff. And you want 4 stat rings. This one only has 3 stats. I wasn't able to find... Well, it does have a socket, but a socket's not as good as I'd like. It has intellect, crit hit damage, crit hit chance, and then a socket, which I'd like attack speed instead. So you want 3 of those: intellect, crit hit damage, crit hit chance, or attack speed, and then you reforge for the last one. A socket's not terrible. Socket's actually pretty good, but I think the other stuff's better. Or damage. See, this one has damage, intellect, attack speed, and crit damage. That's pretty good. Thankfully, because I have plenty of toughness, I don't have to have vitality on either of those. It's like a main stat you want to use to reforge, or enchant in this game. Then on pants, you definitely want 2 sockets, and whatever else you can get. I have intellect, vitality, and armor. That's a pretty good roll. And then a weapon, you pretty much want somewhere around 2100 damage, intellect, and a socket. And this is for a wizard, obviously. For any other classes, you just substitute your main stat. But yeah, nice socket with a big crit hit damage gem. I have a perfect royal in there, 130%. It's kind of a lot. And attack speed's just a bonus. You can't really hope for everything. Just 2100 and get it a socket is probably going to be a good weapon. And then boots. I haven't touched my boots yet. Intellect, vitality is definitely good. They have movement speed on them, but I definitely want these for my final build, so I haven't touched them either. The Archon effect seems pretty good. As for offhand, you want high damage. Your primary damage should be somewhere around at least 300. Intellect, crit hit chance is mainly what you want to focus on. Vitality is always a bonus. So the key to getting high damage is definitely just finding one less stat than all the stats you need, and then just reforging for that last stat or enchanting. But like my neck piece could be better, but I kind of like the 39% reduced cooldown effects and whatnot. So don't be afraid to enchant your stuff. Enchanting is not that expensive. Like if I were to enchant this again already, it would only cost me 16k plus some mats, which isn't bad because you get money kind of fast right now. Enchanting legendaries is more expensive. Let's throw a legendary I haven't enchanted in there. That costs a Forgotten Soul, so you have to disenchant your legendaries, or break them down rather, to get the mats to be able to do that. And if you're doing like a neck piece or rings, those are kind of costly because they cost the gems, and it's a flawless Imperial, so that's kind of expensive to make, and then you risk the chance of not even getting a good stat. As for yellows, they don't cost that gem, so don't be afraid to reforge your yellows. It's probably better just have yellow rings and yellow neck for a while, unless you have something you think is really worth reforging and something that will really be good. So that's it for my guide to help you gear out really quick. I got to over 1 million damage pretty quick, and I can do that while moving, and then standing still is really for the toughness boost at 9 mil. But hopefully that helped you. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video, and I'm going to probably release a Diablo guide, or not a Diablo guide, an Uber run guide for the new run, because there's 4 now instead of 3. And 3 are the same as old, and the new one is Diablo with random bosses from time to time. And it's actually kind of a lot harder than the other ones, so I'm going to release a video on that. So if you're interested in seeing that, go ahead and subscribe, and you'll see when I release that. Thanks for watching, hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next time.